Hey, what's up guys? This is second part of section 4.2, writing equation in slope-intercept form. And just a quick review, we are looking at this form called the slope-intercept, and is y equals mx plus b. Y, notice it's by itself, m is going to be your slope, and b is going to be the y-intercept of the line. This is a linear equation, so it's going to be a line, and the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. Sometimes remember that we are going to use the formula to find the slope of the line by using y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. If you guys don't have the slope, that's the formula you can use. So let's continue with the examples on how to find that equation, that y equals mx plus b. And today I'm going to show you how to find those with graphs. So here, the instruction says you want to write the equation of the line that passes through those 2 points. You guys can see the graph, the actual line, and you put everything together in the form slope-intercept, which is y by itself. So let's go ahead and look at the first graph here. And the line, let's understand what the line means. You have to understand the problem before you actually start doing some work. So we know that the line goes uphill. The slope is given to us, which is 3. Positive slope is going up. We can see a point. The line is crossing this point, 1, 2, right here. And we can also see something else in the line. The line is crossing the y-axis at this point right here. So we have the slope. We can find the y-intercept just looking at the graph. And then when you can put the actual equation together. So the slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So let's go ahead and review what we need. We need the slope. We already have it. M equals 3. And we need the y-intercept. Now the y-intercept, like I told you guys, you can actually find it just by looking at the graph. Right here, that's where the line is crossing the y-axis. The y-axis is here. The line is here. So that's the points of intersection. And that's B. Now, what is B on the y-axis? Well, let's look. Here's the origin. So, -1 on the y-axis. -1 is the y-intercept. So, I'll put a -1 here. So, once you know the slope, once you know the y-intercept, you guys just put everything together. Y equals, there's the 3, which is the slope, x, and B is negative, so I put a -1. And we are done. We got the actual equation, y equals 3x minus 1. Sometimes the graph doesn't have the slope given to you, so we have to find the actual slope. You can use points. You guys can use the graph. And if you have the graph, so let's go to the second graph here. It's a lot easier to use rise over run to find the slope. Or, yep, you can also use the actual 2 points, x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. But that's more when you guys don't have the graph. You can use the formula. So to find the actual slope of the line, that's the first thing I'm going to look for, okay? I'm going to find 2 points on the line. So it doesn't matter which points you want to use, but make sure the points are crossing at the corners of the boxes. So I'm not going to choose here because this is the middle of the box. Here's the box. I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to choose this one. I can choose this one. It's already there. I can choose this one. So you just need to choose 2 points. Can you guys choose these 2 points? Yes, you can. They're on the line and they are on the actual corner of the boxes. But you always want to choose points that are close to each other. So I'm just going to choose 2 points. Like I told you guys, I'm going to choose this one here and this one here. They're closer. Those 2 purple points are closer than the 2 black points. And that's going to be a little bit easier to find the slope. Now I'm going to find my rise over run. So my rise from one point to the other one, I have to go down, and my run, I have to go to the right. So I go down 1 step and I go to the right 1 step. So my slope is going to be rise over run. And when you guys have your rise, that's going to be a -1, and my run is 1. And I'm going to explain that again. -1 because you went down to get to this point right here, from here to here. So you have to go down and 1 to the right. So -1 over 1. you guys can simplify that as an integer, just a -1. And when you write the equation, you don't need fractions, you just write it as an integer or a whole number. Okay, second thing, so I got my first element, or the first thing I need for the y slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So I got the slope, m, but now I need b. So b is the y-intercept, and we actually have it. B is right here, the y-intercept. That y-intercept is at +5. And you guys can actually look at the point, 0, 5. Oh, the y is 5. Or from the origin, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So b is +5. I got what I need. Now you guys just write down your answer. Y equals, the slope is -1, x, and b is +5. Do we need that 1 next to the x? No, but you guys do need the negative. So you can put -x plus 5 as your answer. And this is slope-intercept form. And the last example I'm going to show you guys is an application problem, or something that you guys can apply with linear equations. So here it says that in 1904, a dictionary cost 30 cents. Can you believe that? 30 cents in 1904. Since then, the cost of the dictionary has risen an average of 0.06 or 6 cents per year. Part A, we want to write a linear equation to find the cost of C of dictionary Y years after 1904. And part B, if this trend continues, what would the cost of the dictionary be in 2020? All right, guys. So that's almost like 100 years after, but almost. Let's go ahead and write down the equation. So let me underline, write the linear equation. You have to understand the problem. What is going on in that example? So first, we know that the cost of in 1904, that's the year it started selling the dictionaries, the cost was 30 cents. And since then, the cost of the dictionary has risen an average. Now that's a key word, average, to help you guys understand what that is. When it's risen, or maybe fall, decreasing, or maybe increasing, that's your slope. It's increasing by a fixed amount. So risen an average of 6 cents, that's your m. My slope is 0.06 cents. And the starting point of the cost of the dictionary is your y-intercept, which is b. So b in this case is 0.30 cents. And I'm saying b, the y-intercept, because the y-axis, x value is 0. So the starting point of time, years, or even hours, seconds, is always 0. That's how you start. So the starting point is the y-intercept, which is 30 cents in this case, in 1904. So now that we have the slope and the y-intercept, we're going to put everything together. So I'm going to find y equals mx plus b, but not just y equals with the x, y equals mx plus b. And notice that they say that you want to write a linear equation to find the cost. So that variable c, let me just put a box around the c here, is going to be instead of the y. So I put c equals my slope, which is 0.06. Now in part A, it also says dictionary Y years after 1904. So that Y represents years. So when you guys look at the X value or the X variable, X is going to be years, and they're using Y for years, not the regular Y from the Y equals mx plus b, but they use the Y because that's the first letter for years. So I'm going to put Y right here, and my y-intercept is b, which is plus 0.30 or 30 cents. Now let's make sense of the problem. This one, it says the cost after so many years right here, the Y, you guys can find that by substituting the number of years, multiply by 6 cents, and then you add the initial cost, which is 30 cents. So C stands for cost, and the Y, once again, is not this Y. This represents the years after 1904. After 1904. So let me just put a box here for this one. That's my answer. Part B, it says now, if the trend continues, what would the cost of dictionary be in 2020? So first of all, we need to know how many years have passed since 1904. So I'm going to put years, which is, remember, the Y. So I put Y in parentheses here. It's going to equal 2020 minus 1904. That's how you find out how many years they passed. And that is 116 years. So from 1904 to 2020 is 116. So now you guys substitute that number into the Y. So I'm going to put my C equals 0.6 cents times 116 years. That's how many years it passed. Plus your initial cost, which is 30 cents. You guys simplify, and the answer is 7.26, and that is money. So I'm going to say $7.26. So from 1904, the initial cost was 30 cents. Now, well, not now, in 2020, it's going to be $7.26. So yeah, I did say at the beginning of the slide that it wasn't 100 years, but it is more than 100 years. From 1904 to 2020, that's 116 years. 100 years will be 2004. So just make sure that you guys subtract the years to find out how many years you guys have, and you substitute into the years for the Y. Alright guys, so this concludes the second part of this video. So make sure you guys practice, and I'll see you guys later.